sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, and I am still waiting, and I'm sure it's going to happen. The thing that I'm waiting is that one will sleep one day, next morning he will wake up, and he will see that honesty will depart his heart. There is no honesty in his heart. And after, people will start leaving Islam, will be mu'min in the evening and become kafir in the morning, or he will be mu'min in the morning and become kafir in the evening. That's how quickly and rapidly people will start leaving Iman and Islam. This is the second thing that I'm waiting. Then after that, Imam Muslim rahimahullah narrates the second hadith after this one. He says that tu'radul fitanu ala al-qulub, that doubts are presented to hearts. Some people accept those doubts and some people reject them. Now the question is that what is the relation between the second hadith and the first hadith? The relation between the two hadiths is that those people, those hearts that accept doubts, that entertain doubts, are those hearts that have no honesty in them. And if doubts are presented to your hearts and you do not entertain them, then mabruk, you have honesty in your heart. Now the entire issue of Iman and apostasy or atheism, Iman and kufr, it's all about honesty. Now what is the meaning of honesty? That's the $1,000,000 question. What's the meaning of honesty? Honesty is not that you become, it's not only that you become an honest trader, or you become an honest customer, or you become an honest husband, or you become an honest father, or you become an honest friend. Of course, all of these things are different forms of honesty. But the most important thing before any other form of honesty, that you become honest to yourself. We have to become honest to ourselves. How do we become honest to ourselves? We have to admit that we do not know everything. We have to admit that what we do not know is far more than what we know. And this is a fact, and nobody in the world can challenge this fact. Just give me one example in the whole wide world. One example. And I demand only one example, not the second. This person comes up and he says that I know everything in the world. Is there any example? Is there anyone who can make this claim? And if he makes this claim, will you not call him the biggest fool in the world? Of course you will. There is no one in the world who claims today that he knows everything. It doesn't matter what is your status in your profession. You are the biggest doctor of your city. You're the biggest engineer of your city. You're the biggest professional, IT professional of your city. You have your knowledge limited to that field. You may be a biggest doctor, but you have zero knowledge of how to construct a building. You may be the biggest architect, but then you have zero knowledge in medical field. You may be the biggest IT professional, then you have zero knowledge perhaps in the field of deen. You may be the biggest scholar of Islam, but then you have zero knowledge in the field of medical science. So nobody in the world has 100% knowledge. Nobody in the world can claim that I know everything. It means what we don't know is far more than what we know. Therefore, we have to admit our ignorance. We have to admit that we do not know everything. We have to be honest with ourselves. But unfortunately, we are not honest with ourselves. Whenever doubts are presented to our hearts, we entertain those doubts. We just let me give an example of yesterday, my phone conversation with a person from Punjab. Somehow he was able to reach me. We were driving from Hajj Bhavan to a friend's house, and I was in the car. So I thought, let's utilize this time. So this person was able to contact me on WhatsApp, and I received his call. So he said, Mufti Saab, I watched your video and some of the videos of ex-Muslims on YouTube channel, and for last 2 months, my whole social life is completely ruined. Every day I'm thinking that, am I on the right path? Does Allah exist? Every day I'm thinking that I am praying 5 times daily in the masjid, but am I wasting my time, or is it really an act of worship? For last 2 months, I cannot help myself. I used to do wazifa of 1,000 istighfar every day. I used to recite Quran every day. I used to do this and that, but everything is stopped since I started watching the videos of some ex-Muslims on YouTube. And I said to this brother, same question I asked him, do you know everything? He said, no. I said, what is the level of your dini knowledge? He said, I know a few basic things. Then if that is the case, then how in the world you are entertaining these doubts? Why don't you simply say to shaitan that I firmly believe in Allah without any argument, without any proof? I cannot surrender my will to your will, because my will has been surrendered to the will of Allah. Simply say that and you will be out of this waswasa. You will be out of this problem. So, respected brothers, we have to admit our ignorance and we have to be honest with ourselves. This is the only way we can get rid of all these doubts that bother us in our life. However, unfortunately, in the Muslim Ummah, we see a rising problem of apostasy and atheism. There are many Muslim youth, in front of their parents, they're pretending to be Muslims, but deep down in their heart, they have become kuffar. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith has already been witnessed that there will be people who will be mu'min in the morning and kafir in the evening, and this is what's happening today. According to the Pew Research Foundation, it's a very reputable organization, in America alone, 23% Muslim youth are living Islam every year. So if around 25%, 23 to 25%, if around 25% people in schools and colleges, after the efforts of da'wah, accepting Islam, the same number is living Islam. So it's not like the Muslim Ummah is increasing in number. Same ratio. Why? What's happening? What's wrong? Are we not on the right track? Are we not on the right path? What is the reason? According to my analysis, there are two major reasons that why our hearts entertain some doubts. The first reason is scientism, and the second reason is liberalism. Scientism means that our morality, our way of life, the way how we live, the way how we see this life, it has to be set by science. It is called scientism. Liberalism is very obvious, but many people do not understand the definition of liberalism. Liberalism in reality has three values. Number one, equality. Number two, freedom, full freedom. And number three, progress. Let's talk about scientism. We have this habit of understanding everything in the light of science. The moment we see that certain issue, social issue or a religious issue or certain ayah of the Quran or certain hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam apparently is in conflict with science, we become skeptic towards the Quran, towards the hadith. Why? Because we have full 100% confirmed faith in science, and it is a problem. It's a problem. I am not saying that Quran is in complete coherence with science. I'm not saying that. I openly say that there are many scientific theories that are against the Quran. Many scientific theories that are against the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. so what? So what? Is science confirmed? Has it completed its course? Is science not evolving anymore? Science is ever changing. If it is not changing, then it's not science. Let me give you an example. Suppose you have Taj Mahal, a classic, you can say, miracle of mankind, a perfect mega structure, and you want to do its comparison with a modern building. But the modern building is under construction. It says the work in progress. Is it morally and logically sound that you compare Taj Mahal with a building that has not been completed yet? The work is still in progress, and you are comparing Taj Mahal with that half-built building. Your comparison will never be right. It will always give you wrong data. It will never be convincing, and you will be considered fool if you continue that comparison. You will say, well, let the building be complete first, then only I will compare Taj Mahal with that new building. Science. In this field, the work is always in progress. The construction is never complete. Therefore, if you compare the Quran in the field of infrastructure, it's like Taj Mahal. If you compare the Quran with a theory, with a scientific theory, and you find certain conflicts between the scientific theory and the Quran, and you become skeptic towards the Quran because you have firm faith in science, then you are making the same mistake as the one who started comparing Taj Mahal with a half-built building. Remember one thing, respected brothers. The most accurate theory of science may change tomorrow. And if it can change tomorrow, then it is not right for us to judge the Quran according to that theory. Let me give you an example. The entire science depends on one type of argument. This type of argument is called induction, the argument of induction. It is also known as the problem of induction. I don't know if you have heard this term, the problem of black swan. What is the problem of induction? Example. Suppose medical science is able to invent some vaccine for a disease. You know that how vaccine is presented to the people. It has to go through lab testing. Few thousand people have to take that vaccine. After those few thousand experiments, then medical doctors say that we are confirmed that 70 to 80% of the time this vaccine will work. Now, did they test that vaccine on every single human being? No. Are they saying that every single person who will receive this vaccine will be cured? No. 20 to 25,000 people receive vaccine, and on the basis of this experiment, they induce. This is called the argument of induction. They say that anyone who will receive this vaccine, hopefully this vaccine will work for him. But it is possible that it may not work with some people, with some race. Maybe it won't work in Africa. Maybe it won't work on white people. Or maybe it won't work on Asians. It is possible. It happened many times. There were, in Europe, once upon a time, a particular white bird. So the Europeans started saying that only white bird exists. This bird only exists in white color. But when colonialism happened and the Western people, they started traveling to Africa and to Asia, they found that the same breed also exists in black color. What happened? They induced that this particular breed of bird exists only in white color, but later on they found that even the black color also exists. This is called the problem of induction. The entire science is based on the argument of induction, and the argument of induction can be problematic, can be wrong, can change. The Quran is not based on the argument of induction. Islamic Aqidah is based on the argument of deduction. The argument of deduction is definite. The argument of induction is indefinite. How in the world it will be morally correct that you judge what is definite in the light of what is indefinite? It is impossible. This is the problem of scientism.